Hello, and welcome back to the Pro AV Technology podcast. My name is Marius, and today I'll be going through part 2 of my basic principles of a PA system, which you can find on my blog page, which is proavindustrytech77.blogspot.com. So, today, audio systems part 2. Today, I will cover three-way PA systems, but I just wanted to go through a quick comparison between two-way and three-way PA systems. So as you can see here, I've listed a few differences between two-way and three-way PA systems, and I just wanted to point out with regards to two-way PA systems and three-way PA systems. Two-way PA systems primarily makes use of one crossover point to send separate bass and high mid frequencies to two separate amplifiers, where a three-way PA system makes use of two crossover points to send separate bass, mid and high frequencies to three separate amplifiers. So that is the fundamental difference between two-way and three-way. So I'm not going to read all of this again. Like I said, this is all here for your benefit to read and obviously go through and study, but the basic difference between the difference between a two-way and a three-way PA system is that a three-way PA system makes use of three separate amplifiers and three sets of different types of speakers. So in this case, this will be separate bass, separate mid, and separate high speakers. Why is there, why do people use three-way PA systems? It's because, to me, a three-way PA system tends to give you a much nicer sweet spot, specifically within the mid-range, and you can actually fine-tune the mid-range much better than what you can with a two-way PA system. And again, an active crossover here plays a very pivotal role in selecting those frequencies and fine-tuning it. So with regards to speakers, majority of speakers, like as we know it, have what we call internal speaker crossovers. This has got nothing to do with the actual active crossover that is an external unit, which then you can choose the frequencies. Within an actual speaker, each speaker has got a built-in passive internal crossover. Most of these units are set to specific frequencies, specifically with two-way and three-way speakers, as you can see the example here that I use with very basic hi-fi speakers. And here I show a three-way speaker internal passive crossover board, which shows how it all interconnects with the internal speaker wiring and so forth. Majority of these boards have got set frequencies which they are set to. So it's very important if you decide to build your own speakers, or if you open up a professional speaker which you have access to, maybe to at the back of the speaker to an internal crossover, to make sure that you know which frequencies range your crossover is set at. Some professional speakers have got internal crossovers which you can actually select frequencies on, just by moving a jumper and maybe moving it over to like a different post or something. That's more professional speakers. I literally just wanted to use an example here with an internal speaker crossover board just to show how that works. Whereas that internally splits frequencies between the different drivers within the actual speaker enclosure, but an external crossover does it externally, so you can send those separate signals to dedicated separate amplifiers, which then is connected in turn to their own dedicated speakers. So yeah, here I go through just a quick example of a basic three-way PA system configuration and the components that I would be using. These drawings are just created just to show how all of this will all connect together. So as you can see here at the top, you've got a mixer, your sound console, which then in turn connects to your left and your right three-way crossover units, and then those left and right crossover units connects to your high, your mid, and your bass amplifiers on the left and right input channels. Then moving further on, once that is all sorted out, then we do the interconnectivity between the 3 amplifiers on the left and right channels, and how that connects to the bass, the mid and the high frequency speakers. So as you can see, it's all separate connections that comes out from each of the channels of the 2-channel amplifiers. So again, with a 3-way PA system, you've got a lot more room to fine-tune mid frequencies, because you've got a separate mid amplifier and a separate mid speaker on your left and your right channel, whereas you don't really have that flexibility on a 2-way PA system. Don't get me wrong, there is definite uses for a 2-way PA system. For instance, you know, a DJ or a sort of club installation, or a portable PA system for a one-man band musician or a small band. A 3-way PA system to me is for slightly larger venues where you've got a bigger audience to serve, and this is where a 3-way PA system definitely will reap the benefit from that additional and separate mid speaker. So just read through what I've written here with regards to all the text that I've put in here. Your 3-way crossovers will definitely give you more flexibility, as I mentioned, over a 2-way PA system. So basic 3-way PA system speaker drivers, essentially, you know, in a basic sort of format to create a 3-way PA system. Typically you will use 18-inch speaker drivers for your bass, either 12-inch or in some cases maybe even 10-inch mid-frequency drivers, and then 1-inch or possibly 2-inch high-frequency compression drivers for your high frequencies. There's a lot of different speaker configurations and speaker sizes and things available on the market. It obviously depends on your application and what it is you want to use it for, which will essentially dictate the amount of power you would need for those speakers, and also the type of enclosure for those speakers. So as you can see, I've got a basic example here of a very basic speaker component system. This one here uses 2 separate bass drivers on the left and right channel. Those look like they're 15-inch bass speakers, and then I've got mid speakers as well, and then obviously your high frequency speakers up at the top. So that is 3-way PA systems. So just a quick recap, what have we learned with regards to 3-way PA systems? The differences between 2-way and 3-way PA systems, as I described up at the top. Internal speaker crossovers are used to split frequencies to speakers inside an enclosure and not externally, like is what is done with an active crossover. 3-way PA systems setup requires fine tuning to produce an optimal sound quality. Just take that into consideration. And obviously with regards to what it is that you want your sound system to be used for. The use and design of a 3-way PA system will depend on your intended application, like I said, venue size, venue acoustics, and the intended audience. So that wraps us up for part 2 of the basic principles of a PA system. With part 3 that's coming up, we go through distributed PA systems, their intended use, how to identify a distributed PA sound system, design and individual components used to make a distributed PA system work. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all, and I will definitely see you for part 3.